So we've done the canvas stuff, and we'll also now want to do um, the socket IO stuff. So if I log in now with another account, oops, we can see it's getting reflected from socket.io. It's reflecting both our mouse hover and our drawing. So if you want a completely separate computer, you'd be seeing both of these happening right now, which is nice. Um, and that's being done by socket.io. So we can have a look at how that works. If we jump in here, uh, basically as mentioned with the canvas drawing, we're pushing through on socket.io here. Our updates, again, we're doing the same thing with the cursor updates. It gets a little bit more technical in here because we're using an array of objects because we want to store in the XY data plus the unique display name. And then we're also cleaning up. So when the cursor is disconnected, we're basically saying, hey, delete out the cursors out of our array so it doesn't cause memory leak issues and stuff like that. And then we're just doing socket offs for our returns. And we have a custom event handler for mouse move, handle mouse text, and then we're basically in our handle mouse text, we're checking if our API has completed to get us our unique display name. And then we're just setting into our mouse move, hey, here's our XYs and our display name, which will go back in through to socket IO and then get distributed through to all other clients. And then in our rendering, we're saying fixed position, we're saying the objects, the cursors dot map, so that's our array of objects, and we're mapping the IDs across each of those objects, and we're saying, hey, the key's ID. We want to set our style, so this is for the mouse cursor. We want it on top of everything. We want to offset it a little bit so it's not directly on top of where you're actually drawing your lines. The text is like a little bit below. And then we want to make sure it can still do stuff even while we're drawing and floating around. And then we want to just recenter it, I guess, back underneath the line. I mean, you could probably get away with doing, yeah, you probably don't have to do that, but I did anyway. It's fine. And then the text that we're wanting to display is this pos.display name. So we want that actual entry's display name to get that unique mouse cursor or profile name against whoever's mouse cursor it actually is. Again, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to chuck this into its own module, and then we're basically just going to flag it here like we have our logout button, so it'll go all into its own stuff, which I'll get around to doing, so it's a lot cleaner. Because at the moment it's just jumbled in here, man. Even I'm struggling to read it, and I wrote the code. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing on the client side for Socket.io. In our server side, that profile API call that we're doing to check if it's authenticated. We have a is authenticated call that we can do with passport JS, and basically it'll return the user, and then we're just grabbing the user details and slapping that back through the client. That's how we're getting those unique display names that we can set against the text. I did have another one here. I could probably delete that and clean that up. I don't really need it. And delete that up as well. So back, what was I going to look at? Oh yeah, the socket.io stuff. Right, so we're just creating a new IO server from what are we doing here? Server equals HTTP, so we're creating a HTTP server here, and then we're now creating the socket server from that server. We're setting the origin to allow from, so this will change this to the domain name when we go to production, and we're setting to allow get and post, which will be the push and pull we're doing. And then basically we're just got a console log to just check that, hey, the guys are connected or disconnected. This is our mouse move socket that we're doing, so we're passing through the ID, the data display name. Our canvas update's very simple, we just pass through the data. And then here we're doing that remove cursor of socket.id to clean it up. Now, normally you'd probably want to have persistent data. So, you'd probably save this in a database somewhere rather than just having it in memory at the moment and then lose it. You'd probably want to have maybe like the canvas getting saved to a database, so you have it persistently, but for what I'm doing, I don't really need it. So that's kind of where we're up to with the project. As mentioned, I am going to clean up the canvas page. I'm going to start working on I want to start working on the password restraints, and I want to work on a email/username constraint as well. And then we might start doing the forgot password through email.js. So we'll see how that API works and how we can start sending emails from our server through to clients and get them to reset their passwords.